Selling your Tesla is easy, right? So this video covers everything you need to know about selling your Tesla. Back in March of 2020, we bought our Tesla Model S, and mainly to use it for product dev so that we can come out with new products and so on. And we bought it back then for about $48,000, including all the taxes. But we're making way for the Cybertruck and hopefully a Model X later next year. And we thought this would be a perfect time to sell it. So really, the starting point for any cars is going to be your Kelley Blue Book. And you've probably heard of this if you've sold any cars at all. But you go to the website, you can actually put in your VIN number, put in the right things, and then it'll give you a price range of what it would be for private and also trade-in value. One thing that I'll give a lot of credit to for KBB is that they didn't have an option for autopilot a couple years ago, but now they actually have that, and I believe they account that into the cost. One thing they don't yet is if you had like the MCU2 upgrade or some of those other software upgrades. The other way you can figure out like the ballpark of where it is just go to Tesla.com. You go to the used side, and then you could figure out based on your zip code or the area how much your model is actually going for. And lastly, the other place is to look at a website called Only Used Tesla. We're not sponsored by them. They just happen to do a great job. They have a great reputation in the Tesla community. And you could kind of see what private sellers are listing their Tesla for. And once you get those price ranges, you have to figure out how fast you want to sell it. Obviously, if you're not in a massive rush, try to get the most out of it. Put a little bit higher and have people come down or negotiate it down. If you're trying to fire sell it, go obviously in the lower range, and then you could sell it really, really quick. So the timeline for selling these cars is going to be roughly around 30 days. And if you're getting no bites and nothing at all, your price is probably wrong, or just other things. Maybe your listing is wrong, maybe your pictures are wrong. I decided based on those numbers, I wanted to go a little bit high. I wasn't in a massive rush, so I wanted to list it at $45,000. There's two ways you can sell it. One is going to be a trade-in, which is always going to be a lot easier, and that typically means trading into like CarMax or a dealership or something like that. The private selling is you're just selling it to a private party or a dealer or whatever that is. You always get more money out of that. The pros and cons to both of those is that obviously trade-in is just way easier. You literally go there, they pay off your loan. Sometimes like Vroom will even pick your car up. So the first place I went and got like an appraisal was CarMax.com. And I just went to their website, I put in my VIN number, and they actually sent me a message saying, hey, this car is rare, you should bring it in and make an appointment. And they just look at your car, they look at your badge, they look at software, and they do a massive, a pretty extensive inspection. And once they do inspection, they take it for a test ride, and then they come back, and within about 10-15 minutes, you get an appraisal. And the appraisal that I got was $35,000. And granted, that's not terrible, right? But you have to keep in mind the reason why you're gonna get a little bit less is these guys have to make money too. But again, you're trading money over time. The next place I went to is Vroom, VROOM, and it's super easy. All you have to do is go to the website. You actually don't even have to go to any place. What you do is you put your VIN number, you pretty much self-assessment, you add all the, I guess like the details and stuff, and then they'll give you an appraisal in about 1 to 2 days. So this is a little bit interesting because the first time I actually asked for an appraisal or the value of my car, they actually offered me $36,000 before I even got an FSD/MCU2 upgrade. And then I remember I did it about 2 weeks later, and they gave me less, like $29,000. So I'm not really sure exactly like how that changed or how that shifted. The next place I went to was Tesla Trade-In. And Tesla Trade-In, you just go to tesla.com/trade-in, and you can actually even log in using your account, and then all you have to do is put your number, and then immediately they'll give you a number. I did get from like 30, mid-30s, and then at one point I think I got like 26,000, and then I got like 29. So it was kind of all over the place. Not 100% sure how the algorithm works in terms of giving you the price, but I didn't want to go with Tesla just because it was just all over the place, and I could never get that $30,000 pricing again. So the next option was Facebook, right? I have actually sold cars previously on Facebook.com in the marketplace. And I'm going to be honest with you, I will not post on Facebook for a Tesla, at least in my region. So right away, I posted at 45. People were complaining that it's too much money. Some people actually got trolled quite a bit. Like I'll read some of those because they're pretty good. That's a lot for 2016. Better make me a breakfast and a sandwich. I do make really good breakfast sandwiches though. I'll pass. I like my 18 miles per gallon diesel that rolls coal. One guy that says, people need to grow up. Stop making negative comments under someone's post if you're not interested. So thanks for sticking up with us. The last place that I put this on is going to be Only Use Tesla. Super easy. You put your photo, you have the ability to put it in video. You want to put your specs, and you could get that from your NVPA, motor vehicle purchase agreement, or you could get it from your app or like your Tesla account. A couple things to note is if you did, like for me, I did the MCU2 upgrade and the FSD upgrade, you definitely want to tell people that. That makes a lot of people feel better about buying a 2016 car. I did have like panoramic roof. I think that's what it is. Panoramic roof. However, I did have Autopilot 2.0, and once I upgraded that MCU2 computer, man, it was awesome. But while you're waiting for your car to be sold and getting inquiries, you want to consider a few things. The first thing is upgrades. If you have an older car like mine, would you be able to sell it for more or faster if you had an MCU2 or FSD upgrade? If you do have FSD, I wouldn't encourage you to buy the 10K upgrade because they can just buy a subscription. But for the computer, that makes a big difference because, again, it future-proofs your car. And you want to consider that if you think you're going to go private. Again, if you're going trade-in, I wouldn't consider it. A lot of times they don't really add a lot more value to that. You're going to get a lot more if you can fix all the defects of your car. For example, my car was almost broken into and someone had hit my rear glass. So I replaced that glass. Every time there's a defect or something wrong with it, it's an opportunity for the negotiator or the buyer to say, hey man, can we bring this down cost because of X? And lastly, one thing you want to consider is, you're sending this car to another person, you want to get it detailed, all right? So what we ended up doing is we did a basic interior clean. We also did a one-step polish around the car, and that just makes it pop. It just makes it look a lot cleaner. Now that your car is ready, it's all about the negotiation with your buyer. And I listed at 45, and then about a week and a half later, I decreased that price to 43. And then I had a buyer who was serious, and we went back and forth. He offered like 36, 38, and then I said I'm going to stick at 41. We ended up meeting a little bit in the middle at $40,000. Once you agree, you need to talk about the funds. So there are two ways that I recommend getting funds. The first one is going to be cashier's check, and that's something that's a lot of people are familiar with. And the way that works is once you get a cashier's check from a bank, they're holding that. So you can call that bank. If it's from Bank of America, you can call them and say, hey, I'd like to confirm the funds for a cashier's check. You give them that cashier's check number, and then they'll actually be able to confirm that the fund is actually there. Escrow.com is also another option. Escrow holds the funds for you until everything is kind of settled. And the one thing to keep in mind is if you are going to use escrow.com, is you need about a week to set up your verification and your account and all that stuff. And your buyer also needs to set that up. So it kind of acts as that middleman. So it's kind of a good way to keep yourself and the buyer protected. On top of verifying your payments, you definitely want to verify who you're meeting. With this buyer that I had, we actually exchanged a driver's license. I had his full name. He had my full name. I had the bill of sale ready. He verified it. There was a lot of transparency. So there was a lot of reasons for me not to be suspicious of him. And once we agreed on that and we verified each other's identity, we had to pick a location of meetup. So when you are picking a location for meetup, always try to meet up at a place that's super safe and also not in the dark, in an alley, of course. And the next thing that you want to do is, do a bill of sale. And a bill of sale is a document that pretty much says that I sold this car to another person. Another thing that you want in the bill of sale is an odometer disclosure agreement. And what that's saying is I'm not lying about the odometer, because that is a serious offense if you do when selling a car. So those two things are going to be available down here. I'm going to put it in the links as well. So for the buyer, that person is going to want to inspect the car to make sure that that's the car that they wanted, that was promised, there was no any other defects that we talked about. You want to transfer ownership from your Tesla account. And that's really easy. The first thing that you want to do is go to Tesla and then go to the settings, and you want to do a factory reset. Now what this does is it removes your Bluetooth and your information from that vehicle. And it's kind of like factory resetting your iPhone before you sell it. So once you do that, you go into your Tesla account, and then right there in the corner, it'll say, remove your vehicle from your account. You do that, it'll ask for the name of the person that you're sending this card to. That person needs to have a Tesla account. And honestly, you press remove, you'll get a verification via your email. And then after that, within like 2-3 minutes, that person can log out, log back in, and the car will show up. One thing to keep in mind as a seller is that you're gonna have the car on your account for about 1 to 2 days. But that person will also have access, so it'll be like a dual access at the same time. A couple other things that you wanna do is remove your license plate. So remind your buyer to bring like a license plate so that they can put it on their car. The next thing is you need to get the title to your buyer ASAP. So the way to do that is if you have a loan, you need to get the money, deposit it, pay off the loan. It takes 2 to 3 days to finally complete that loan. And then after that, they'll send you the title back to you. And then once you get it, do not forget this, but sign the back of your title and then, ship it to your buyer. That completes the vehicle purchase process. I think if I were to do it again, I wouldn't change it. I would go private. I'd rather get a few thousand more bucks and put a little bit more work to get that money. The other thing is always verify the funds and also the person that you're going to be meeting with. And also don't post on Facebook for your Tesla. Hope that helped you guys. If you do decide to sell your Tesla, this is your guide. If you have any questions, comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. We're coming out with videos every single week. Good luck selling your Tesla.